One second. I'm doing a podcast!
Can we put that in? That's going in.
Hello, and welcome back to the footballing question. You join us on a very sad day in English football history. Last night, England did lose the Euros final to Italy on penalties. I'm joined by Jordan Granger and Isaac Dodson. Isaac, I come to you. How are you feeling?
I've had a lot of time to think about this. Last night, I actually tried to record my thoughts at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't really. I couldn't really do it without breaking into tears. Really. I've always been an aggressive football fan. I've always reacted kind of in the moment and been really hasty to blame players. Like my reaction to the Croatia loss 3 years ago on the same day was to blame John Stones, when really, I should have been proud of the team. And last night we got so close. I'm just so sad. One thing I'd like to address really early on is that I think you all agree with me that we stand against how a lot of people have reacted to each penalty miss and all the players, and we're standing with them because not one of them deserves a single ounce of abuse. Because I'll admit sometimes, in the media you should be able to criticise players, but there's a fine line between criticism and abuse, and I really don't like what I've seen in the last 12 hours. I don't know, but I'm just distraught. I'm just really distraught.
That's the thing. We did get we got so close. And in the end, it literally. I mean, we all know how penalties work, but it came down to a couple of kicks of the ball, and it's weird to think that we were that close. Jordan, how are you?
I don't really know how to react because watching the game, I thought we started so well, and then it just went downhill. We were awful second half. First half of extra time, I don't think we were great. Second half of extra time, I think we were the better team, but overall, across the board, we just weren't good enough. And props to Italy, really, because they deserved it. In the end, they deserved to beat us. They deserved to win. Penalties, game of luck. Luck wasn't on our side. I want to give props to Jordan Pickford as well, because Pickford was outstanding again. I said it in the last video, or I think it was the last one, how amazing he's been all tournament, and he kept us in it for as long as he could. Just unfortunate that it had to be Rashford, Sancho and Saka, really. We'll end up talking about the penalty takers and all that sort of thing, but like Isaac said, the abuse those players got online was just a disgrace, really. Rashford, in particular, I know you guys would probably be more connected with Saka and all that, but for me, Rashford, with everything he's actually done for the country in general, not even just on the pitch but off it, with his whole school meal thing, and then for him to get racially abused is a disgrace. Then Sancho as well, he's just signed for United. He proved himself this season a lot, and over the past couple of seasons, and he didn't deserve it. Then you got Saka, who's come in and, after being questioned, been arguably one of our better players in the tournament. They didn't deserve any of the abuse they got, and we can't stand for it. Then I don't know if you guys heard, but there was fans being abused and stuff, uncalled for. It's ridiculous. And honestly, I'm proud to be English right now because of how well we did. But why do we, as football fans, have to take the blame of everyone else as well? It doesn't make sense. We had 2030 World Cup hopes. They're probably in the bin now. But in terms of the game, because that's what we're here to talk about rather than that sort of thing, in terms of the game, we weren't the better team. Italy were by far the better team, and like I said, game of luck, and unfortunately, luck weren't on our side last night.
It's quite hard to actually remember how good we were all feeling after that Luke Shaw goal, because it was the same, if not better, as when Kieran Trippier scored that free kick against Croatia. It was unreal. And I think let's just, because it's obviously we're all pretty upset and pretty down about the result, but if we let's just talk about the game, and because like, what a goal from Luke Shaw. The marking was horrendous. That Italian right back, yeah, what was he doing? He looks across, he sees Luke Shaw, and he thinks, "Now I'm going to worry about Kane," and just stays on Kane. And Luke Shaw is free as ever. And what a strike! What composure in a final to do that. And we're going to get on to like our best player of the tournament in another video later on. But if you're thinking about best player, Luke Shaw has definitely got to be up there in contention. He's brilliant.
I have a lot of praise for Luke Shaw. Obviously, I'm a United fan, so I love him so much. But I think a lot of the props has to go to Kieran Trippier as well, because that cross was unreal. So good, and it was timed so perfectly, and the quickest goal in Euro history, innit? So
in a final.
In a final, sorry.
With that ball as well, it was almost like it was disguised. The way it curled round, like I don't think any of the Italian defenders actually did predict it to loop all the way back round. Still poor marking, but yeah, it was such a good ball. You're completely right there. I don't know. After that goal, though, I think we all expected Southgate to, emphasise defence even more, even though we came into the game with quite a defensive setup already. I think we all expected that, but it was just a bit too much. And Italy, I mean, we just kind of let them do their thing, and I don't think we should have.
Yeah, we were set up to defend really by that point. I think we needed the other goal. We needed another goal as soon as possible, and we just thought, we'll shut up ship, I guess, and sit back. And it wasn't the right approach. We can't really blame the players or Southgate that much because they've done so well, but in that situation, it wasn't good enough.
Do you think it's like kind of, because Southgate going into these big games against Germany, I think the idea was that like, okay, we're not going to score till late on. Let's just hold out. Until the later stages of the game, and then our quality will come out on top, and we will get the goals. Did Southgate maybe have that same idea in this game and was kind of like, you know what, we're not going to score early on? And then when we did, he was so like, what do I do? Because I don't think we can hold a lead for this long. Like, do you kind of feel like it all fell apart, or I don't know, at the end of the day, was it just bad luck?
I honestly don't know. I think it was such a similar sort of feel to that game against Croatia, because we scored fairly early on. Well, we scored very early on in this game, and then everything just seemed like it was going downhill from there. I think we were very lucky to go in at half time 1-0 up, and I have no idea really, because it's tough, and the Italians were just very, very good on the day, really. And like I said before, I think they definitely deserved to win the game. Whatever tactics Southgate put out, it wasn't right for the day, and that's it, really.
When Saka came on, I felt like, I mean, in my front room, everyone was going mental. Because like we've loved Saka for it, like this whole tournament, and when he came on, I thought, yes, finally. And I know, because we just let Italy do their thing, it kind of seemed like he wasn't able to thrive like he usually does. And to be fair, in incidences, I think Saka was, he did make a few mistakes on the ball. He wasn't his usual self, but at the same time, he's 19 and he's stepping onto the field into a European Championship final. So yeah, I don't know, that I feel like he's going to get a lot of criticism, and I think he should get, I think you should be able to go onto Instagram right now and say that was an awful penalty. Like you should be able to criticise their game. I think you should be able to say that. If you're playing in a Sunday League team and your mate misses a free kick, you're allowed to say you should have done this. That was awful. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but missing that penalty, missing this penalty, you know, missing this penalty. Do you think the first word Southgate would say to him is, "That was an awful penalty"? You can't. You can't. I know, but you can't. It's not the right time to say that. You should support the guy because he knows. He knows it's a mistake already. He doesn't need it to be said, you know. And
I do support him. I do support him as well because
I know.
at the end of the day, it's just a penalty. But I don't. I obviously have a problem with people going online and like some of the stuff I've seen, like the monkey emojis under, Sterling's
Sancho,
Instagram
yeah.
and stuff like that. It's unbelievable. And Sancho and Rashford and God knows who else. It's unbelievable. I still stand by the fact that you should be able to go online and obviously we should be supporting them. But if you wanted to, there's nothing wrong with going on there and said you didn't play well today. You weren't good enough. You need to step up your game. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But there's something wrong with.
To me, it's just not the right time to say that. To me, the only thing we should be doing right now is applauding the players because they got this far. At the end of the day, this is the best. At the end of the day, this is the best England team in 55 years, and they should be applauded on that. All we should be doing now is applauding them and looking forward to next year because we've got a really young team, and there's good things on the horizon.
I think it's important to look at the good things for sure. I sort of agree with you both. We have to look at the good things, but we also have to look at the performance overall and be like, well, why did we not go for the second goal, for example? Why did we let Italy control the game? I don't think we can go to specific players and be like, you didn't have a great performance or whatever just yet. And I think we have to praise them for sure, but like I said, the performance wasn't good enough overall. We just need to find those mistakes and then get rid of them next year when we go to the World Cup.
Yeah, I understand that we should be supporting them and stuff because I do want to. And I think Saka's had an exceptional tournament, and the fact that he stepped up to take that final penalty, I don't know at the end of the day whether Southgate's gone and made that decision for him, or whether Saka's gone and said, I will take this penalty, and he stepped up. But then you have to think, why wasn't Sterling going up for a penalty, and why wasn't Grealish going up for a penalty?
It was.
I've looked at this because I was thinking about this earlier today and yesterday, and Southgate did his conference this morning as well as last night and said he takes the blame entirely. He said that he wanted people to take penalties, and Jack Grealish, I've got his tweet up here. He tweeted out, I said I wanted to take one. The gaffer has made so many right decisions throughout the tournament, and he did tonight, but I won't have people say that I didn't want to take the penalty when I said I will. I think players wanted to take penalties, and unfortunately Southgate or whatever, they must have practiced penalties a million times in training, and clearly he thought it was the right decision to go for them. The players that took the penalty, whether that was Saka, Rashford, Sancho, Maguire stepped up, for example. Did anyone really think Maguire would step up for a penalty, especially that early? Exactly. But I think when it comes to a penalty shootout, you need to go and think, who are we 100% certain is going to score? And realistically, I think at least two of the players that I was 100% certain was going to score stepped up. One of them scored, one of them missed. Kane, I thought Kane's going to score. I saw Rashford walk up and I think there's no way he can miss. And I think he had the worst penalty of the lot, really, and it was just, maybe I'm seeing it as a United bias, I guess, but I'm just disappointed in the fact that Rashford missed, especially.
When you think about, because I might be wrong, but I don't think Saka's actually taken a penalty in his professional career yet, and
No.
Sterling has. We had players on that pitch that had been there before and performed when it matters. Obviously, they've practiced penalties in training. Obviously, they've gone over that, and obviously they had an order. But when you compare that to how Italy went up, faced the penalties and how they performed and how they performed previously, it just looked like in terms of preparation, we were nowhere near on their levels in terms of penalties. I don't think so anyway. It was like the penalty shootout was a bit embarrassing. Because it was nowhere near good enough.
Look, the thing with preparations for penalties is no matter how many times. Look, I think we have prepared for penalties. We have. You saw that against Colombia last time. And the issue is, no matter how many times you prepare, you cannot, in a training session, replicate the pressure on the day. And Colombia, the pressure they received 3 years ago is nothing compared to this one. You know, one wrong kick, and that's the trophy gone. You know, that is a ridiculous amount of pressure. And I really don't want to criticise Gareth Southgate too much, because he's been amazing this tournament, and he's brought a lot of hope back to the nation. And you know, in some ways, maybe bringing on Rashford and Sancho that late on, where basically they only kicked the ball once, and that was the shot. They didn't really have any adrenaline. They hadn't really got into the game. You know, maybe even though he's missed 2 penalties for England, maybe Henson could have stepped up. You know, he's a big leader. But it's Southgate selected them off training. We weren't there in the training sessions. He's picked them, and on the day it didn't work out. But I mean, in the game, obviously, in the first half, I thought we were the better side because I thought we defended very well. In the second half, I thought we started well. It's just mentally, as soon as Bonucci scored, I thought we just kind of didn't know where to go because we were playing so defensive and we didn't know how to switch a gear and go back into an attacking mode. At the end of the day, we've got an entire tournament without conceding from open play.
Mm.
You know,
yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point.
And that one, I thought, if we dealt with that corner, I'd have been fairly confident that we could have still held on, because the defence we've got this tournament, like genuinely, we've conceded 2 goals in a tournament. One is a direct free kick, one's from a corner. Like, that's they can. Every single game after the group stage, everyone talked about, they've got a great defence. They can see, as soon as the group stage ended, they haven't kept a clean sheet. Whereas we kept a clean sheet up to the semi-finals, you know, which is ridiculous. So,
can we also talk about that foul from Chiellini? And he was doing it a lot.
I want to talk about the refereeing and the dirty play. I thought it was disgusting how they played. Overall,
I thought that it took very long for there to be a yellow card. I think Bonucci got a yellow card very late, and he made about 5 fouls. It was ridiculous. They were getting away with murder. Chiellini, he's basically committing GBH on Saka there, strangling him effectively. And also, one thing I have to talk about, Jorginho. How that man stayed on the pitch is an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. The people I was watching it with, one of them, I'm not going to name names, but he said, no, I don't think that's a red card. I'm like, mate, you support a League One club. You're used to crap refereeing. Of course you don't think that's a red card. But I'm a Premier League fan. That is a straight red every day of the week. You know, I'm sorry. I don't care if he's touched the ball. He's reckless. And he studded Grealish on the knee. How that man stayed on the pitch. And he nearly scored the winning penalty. If he scored the winning penalty, I'm sorry, I want the game bloody replayed, because that's a disgrace. And it's karma that Pickford saved his penalty. It's absolute karma. And there's so many fouls. They made so many fouls. And the amount of times we were pulled up for fouls, and it was just like, what the hell? Jesus Christ.
That foul on Saka, when he sneaks past Chiellini running down the wing. Okay, he's through. So first of all, you could argue it's a goal scoring opportunity that he's denied, right? And also, all right, the referee's probably looked at it and gone, it's a pull of the shirt. But that is not an ordinary pull of the shirt. He has pulled him back on his neck. Saka could have got seriously injured from that. He really could have. And he was, you know, that to me could even argue for a red card, I think.
100%. 100%. They just played. I don't like saying, because I've said already, I think the Italians deserved to win by how they played. But there was so many fouls, it was unreal. The referee, I thought first half the referee was actually really decent. I thought, okay, you're actually allowing the game to be played. You're stopping things that need to be stopped, but you're good refereeing. From the second half onwards, the refereeing was a disgrace. The amount of times that they dived, I'm sorry, Chiesa, I'm pretty sure we've praised him before in other videos. Chiesa got injured. I'm 95% sure that he did not get touched, but he stayed on the ground for ages. Jorginho near the start of the game was down for so long, and he just got back up and
Jorginho
continued
went
playing.
down. He went down after studying Grealish.
Exactly, that as well. And he was acting like he was injured. It was ridiculous. But in the first half, Jorginho, there was questions that he was going to come off. They had a player ready to come on for Jorginho, but he kept playing and he was fine by the end. I think, although the Italians deserved to win, they played just really dirty.
When you compare it to our defence or how we made tackles, and how we played trying to get the ball back, we played with, a little bit of class. I'm sure there were moments where we made fouls and we were dirty, but that was constant all game long. All game long, they were hacking at our players, pulling their shirts. They just weren't professional about it at all. And all right, you could say, yeah, they wanted it more, but I don't care because they did play better at the end of the day. But the fact that they went about it, pulling shirts, making fouls like that, it's just disgraceful.
I don't want to take anything away from them really for their performance, but some of the refereeing decisions were a joke, and some of the challenges and fouls and that sort of thing that they got away with were a joke. But I said it before, I'm going to end up saying it again probably 100 times. They were the better team. England on the day weren't good enough, and although it's luck of the draw with penalties, that's just how it goes really.
Thanks for watching. That was our reactions to last night's game. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new as well, and check out our Instagram, Twitter and Facebook pages. And that's Isaac's final message for the video. Thanks.
Cheers.